That's my theme music. This is Heather Biederman, and you are listening to Liberty Librarian with Heather Biederman. I'm going to share this to my page so people can watch it, and hopefully this should make it so it works pretty good for all of you guys. We're trying something new again. It seems like I love trying all of the new stuff, right? Librarian is on now. Okay. We'll see if this is going to work. Oops, that's not the right one. So I'm on my page. Where am I? If I refresh it, we'll see. I'm wondering if it's going to start yelling at me. So we'll just see. Hi, Valerie. Hi, Alicia. It's nice to see you all here today. I'm hoping that, let's see. Oh, there it is. I'm going to share it to the Liberty Librarian page so those kids can play too, not just my friends. And I haven't gotten a way to... I was hoping to get it so this could share to my YouTube and everything, but it might be more than I can figure out at this point in my life. It just seems like everything is so very complicated to my brain. I don't know if it's just because it's always a Monday for Liberty Librarian, but it's always a Monday for Liberty Librarian. Let's see. Okay, there. Now I'm going to share. Ta-da. Okay, so welcome. Welcome, you guys. How's it all going? You having a good Monday? It was, is Alicia still trapped in Duluth? I think I heard that earlier. I hope that you're not. I hope it's all good and you're all warm and toasty wherever you are. And I made it to work today. My coworker is on vacation to Florida this week, which makes me think she's the most brilliant human being ever because she planned to go on vacation. Yay! I hope that you have a safe trip home. I know it's the more north you get in Minnesota, it's a lot. Oh yeah, you're gonna be good. You definitely want to get home before tomorrow. I know weather people that are saying it's gonna be really cold starting tomorrow and kind of brutal. So get where you need to be and stay there. I got to try to open the library every day this week, so I'm hoping that it's fine. I had student workers that couldn't make it, so it was kind of lonely for the morning, but you know how it is. You know, you're hardy and you're a Minnesotan and you can do anything, maybe. Some days I really want to go somewhere warm, the desert or somewhere delightfully tropical, but you know, in summer here, it's so gorgeous that we forget about it until next year. So is it live on the site? Okay. You can also go to Freedom Revolution Network and watch the show there. Our fabulous webmaster, Melissa, is on the case and making sure. I'm going to look because I'm just curious. It's a brand new, awesome site. Everything's looking beautiful and we're getting it all together. And if I can just figure out and take a few minutes to sit down and figure out how to make the case and making sure. I'm gonna look because I'm just curious. It's working. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. Brand new, awesome site. Everything's looking beautiful, and we're getting it all together. Ooh, technology! And there's my face. Oh my god! So I'm gonna pop out the chat box so I don't drive myself nuts. There it is. So maybe it disappeared. But that's okay. I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, it was really cold up there. You were way up north. And I am a wimpy human being, and I had my mega coat that has many layers, and the minute you wear it inside, you'd start sweating. But outside, it's lovely and warm, and it has all the pockets in the world, which is an important thing to me. And I feel very happy that I got this coat because... Well, you know how people give you compliments and they're kind of rude. I was at, I think it was Walgreens the other day, and this lady goes, "Oh, I love your coat." And I'm like, "Yes, it's warm. It has all the pockets." And she goes, "I saw a guy had the same coat. Did you get it at whatever Kohl's or something?" And I'm like, "No, I got it at Lens End online on sale, and it was on sale and fabulous." And I was thinking later, it's like, was that a slam? It's because a guy who had the same coat, and then she was like, "Oh, it's so very tailored. It looks very nice." And I'm like going, "Yeah." And I will not die of freezing to death in this coat because it will protect me from everything. I think it would, if it would just have some built-in tent kind of thing. I know pockets. Oh, I mean, I like it in a dress so much. You need to have pockets for everything. I mean, I'm wearing a cardigan that has a pocket in it. And I mean, really, what am I going to put in this tiny little pocket? But I could put a phone in this. I mean, it's worth it to me to be warm and also be able to carry all my crap everywhere. So I am very happy about that. So yes, I love it. So what's going on today? It's Monday. It's the end of the semester is coming up quickly. Snacks. Yes, you need to have like emergency snacks on you at all times. I don't know if it's like it's a family thing, but my growing up, my mother always had a really big purse, and I think that's a mom thing. But you'd say, "Mom, did you have a safety pin?" And she'd like reach in like it was like a bag of holding, and she'd pull out a safety pin, Kleenex, baby wipe, snack, half a chicken sandwich or something. Yeah, not a chicken sandwich. I'd probably get bad, but snacks. Like I'm having low blood sugar. Here's a granola bar, juice box. Like what's in there? You almost want to go like $1,000,000. Boop. You're like, yes. That's the ultimate mom thing is like having the best purse in the world. And it has to be organized. This is my journey is to find the purse that has all the little pockets in it so you can keep everything organized, but also so you can just reach in and pull out what you need. You know what I mean? Yes. So that, and it also has to kind of look cool. I want it to not look like, I don't know, like how like guys take to the gym to work out, like big duffel bags, army duffel bags. It can't look like you're living out of the bag, but you kind of have to be able to live out of the bag. So it's got to look like business. And I'm gonna move that light over so I don't look like I'm glowing like an angel. Woo-hoo. Yes. Oh, I know, pocket magic purse. Oh, yes, please take pics because I'm looking for a new purse. I got a really good one on Amazon. I'll share a link to it later. But this one, it's great for travel. It smushes up super tiny. It's got like a thing built in so you can bring your umbrella. But it's so smushy that it doesn't look business. So I want something a little more structured, but also have all the space for shit. I totally want that. And I think every woman really wants that in their life is fabulous pocket purse. So my other thing is I bought a coat for going to concerts because if you know me and my husband go to every concert in the world. And what we do is, like we go to these shows and it used to be you could just bring mega purse and nobody gave a crap because they really don't usually care that much about women. I know it's totally sexist, but like guys get the full pat down, they put the gloves on, up the butt, whatever. And women, we kind of have it a little easy because they kind of go, look, let me look in your purse. Most of the guys are like, no, you really don't want to stick your hand in a woman's purse because, it could be, there's a granola bar. It could be a mouse trap. You never know. And there's some women that I'm just like, it could be a dirty diaper. You don't know. You don't know what's in their purse. So it's probably the best for most people to keep their hands out. I've even told my husband, I'm like, hand it to me. Hand me the purse. I don't want you looking around because it would take him a whole day to figure out where things are, where I could just reach in and by touch, pull out a hairbrush or pull out my wallet or pull out whatever, my cell phone. And it's just, it confuses most people. And I'm not saying all men would have that problem, but I'm saying that it's enough of a problem that I think I would just say, just don't put your hand in my purse unless I tell you. And it's like weird is a lot of, and this is the sexist part of it, is if a woman's like, what do you need? And you're like, get my wallet. They would actually probably find it faster than he would. I know you women have the idea of how these things are structured, like where things would be in it. There's a little bit of a logic to it, and I'm just it's so hard to even explain it. If you don't have a purse, you probably don't know how to find things in a purse. So he's nice, so he'll like grab it for me. I'm like, it's in the back seat, and then he will hand it, and I go, whoop, sword. I don't carry a sword most of the time, but it's like you need to have things that are organized. And I'm a librarian. I like it organized, but I'm also a little bit messy. If you looked at my house right now, it gets to be the end of the semester and like everything explodes. And I have stuff that I really want to do. Like I got all this equipment for setting up a home studio, and as you can tell, I haven't set it up yet. But I also have to clean that room before I do it, and cleaning is the thing I hate the most. Alicia says her purse will carry. Mine will carry mine at least. Oh, your husband will carry yours. But yes, pass it back like it's going through his wallet. And I don't know where to find stuff in my husband's wallet. And it's a tiny little thing. To be honest, I probably could figure it out. But it's his stuff. And I think there's some privacy that everybody kind of needs to go along with. And I think it's just a nice thing to do. Oh, so I was talking about the other thing besides a purse is, have you heard of Scotty Vest? It's a company that makes, the original thing they had was these vests that had all the pockets on it. So I think, Alicia, you might like it because they make stuff for women. I could grab it. Let me grab it right now. It's probably not going to show up on camera. Yes. Here it is. So what it is it's a black trench coat. I'll model. Ooh, black trench coat. But it's got giant pockets. Like, seriously. The pockets go from down here to all the way up here. You could put a whole tablet in this. It's got inside pockets. It's got stuff so you can put your sunglasses, your bottle of water, a child, a small animal. It's like a huge coat, and it's dressy. So the deal with it is more and more concerts are getting to be right? Yes. More and more concerts. They're getting to the point where they do that they look at you, and like if you're a woman, you can just go through, which is still crap. I mean, really, anybody can do terrible things at a concert, but they go through your purse, which takes so much time, and it pisses me off because I hate people searching me. I hate the privacy. So I might switch to a coat like that, like a Scotty Vest coat with all the pockets. Put my keys, my wallet, the stuff I need, like beauty stuff, and I think it'll work. The only problem with that coat that I got was I did it one time for a Minnesota Viking game, and they make you also go through a metal detector. So the wine or growler or beer, you're not wrong. You could totally bring stuff. I think if you did it right, you could probably have, as long as it didn't have metal, I was thinking they're anal at the sports games, but not at the concerts at all, not with women anyway. So if you did it right and you weren't sloshing, you could probably have like a little bit of thing. A scan purse. Oh, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. I love hacks. I want to take my stuff with me. I know that I'm a responsible person. I know there are people who are not responsible, but I really want to have it so I can bring my stuff with me. And I love reading those websites. Like we had talked earlier about like going on trips to like on cruise ships, and people would like fill shampoo bottles with hard alcohol or wine or whatever. You can bring one bottle of wine, but people wanted to bring like a bottle of rum or something so they get drinks I think you can pay to get like non-alcoholic drinks, like a drink plan, and that's expensive but a little more reasonable. So you could buy one of the, or get your drink, bring it to your room, like top it off with some alcohol, and then you're good. But yeah, no one ever looks at your purse, huh? I'm gonna have to find that. You're gonna have to send me a link. Post a link if you can find it. I'd love, or send it to me in instant message. I'd love to see that. Um, I just think it's such a hassle. It's such a hassle when they make it so you have to jump through all these hoops, and I don't like that. I really want it to be something that's mm, just a little bit more unobtrusive. And I'm not going to a concert to go get in a knife fight. I don't bring that stuff. But I also feel like it's not really anybody's business as long as you're not planning on stabbing people. Because I know women who have they knit, and those knitting needles are pretty dang dangerous. If you went up to someone and stabbed them with the knitting needles, it could tampon flasks. Just don't forget which ones are the real tampons and or which are not the real tampons. I'm just reading Alicia's post. You're a hoot. Oh, for joints too. Yes, but yeah, you don't want to forget which ones and then you like throw away your stash. That would be bad. Right. So anyway, I have a lot of trying to get all my crap on me and get into a concert. It's no one's business, right? Nobody should give a crap what you have on you as long as you're not like going to hurt people with it. I mean, I don't care if somebody has their own drugs. I don't care. I mean, I don't, what difference does it make? It's not going to hurt me. I mean, I might be like jealous, like, they get to have drugs, and we don't get to have drugs. That kind of stuff. But it just seems like a little bit snotty for somebody to be going through your stuff just in case it's something dangerous. And who's to say what's dangerous? I know people who could stab someone with a pencil and probably kill them. It's your skill is more than anything. And like on one hand, my husband and I have arguments about it. It's like, yeah, it's usually a dude that's like gonna bring something to a show. But we went to a metal show about a week before we went to see like Wilco, and you're just kind of going, I was in the same line because it was at the same venue, and I talked to the same guy, and at the metal show, I'm like, okay, they searched me, and I'm like going, really, at Wilco? Like you're thinking, and they're like, we do it for all the shows. I go, it's kind of bullshit. I just don't see why they need to search everybody. And I went to a show, God, it was like in this fall. It was Ghost at the Armory in Minnesota, and we got there early and we missed the opening act because we were still outside, and then we had to go through searching and we had to go through metal detector, and because of that we were barely in time to see the show. And I know I was peeved, but my impatient husband was very peeved. So I really think they take it to extremes, and it makes it not fun for anybody. Oh, do you see my cat? Oh, other way. Rory, there's my cat. You see him? He's got laser eyes behind me. Okay, let's see if I can do this. It almost seems weird. Like, there. Finger pointing. Yes. That's the one that will get in a fight with the nice kitty, and he will also like do everything possible to be on camera, including try to walk across the screen in front of on the keyboard. Yeah, you talking about you. So yeah, it's a matter of time. You gonna lay down? Okay. So we have some news to cover, and I want to just make sure I do a little bit of that. But this has been actually really fun. I've liked the Facebook Live. It seems like the quality is a little bit better. I'm hoping that I can either upload this to YouTube or find a way to make it work between each other. But when I try to use the Restreamio stuff, it just doesn't work. So yay for Facebook. You haven't let me down. I know YouTube was having problems with quality as well. It might be it's just too high of quality for my internet, but Anyway, so a couple weeks ago, I had my good friend Kara Schultz on, and we talked about city monitoring of data. And she had gone to a conference, and at this conference, Kara had was a little bit shocked. She went to a session, as we all do, where you go to one session because it's in the same building as another, and she thought it wasn't probably going to be something that she was interested in, but she was really glad she did, because she found out that a lot of cities are looking into monitoring sewage. And why would they do that, you ask? Because they can see how much illegal drugs or drugs in general are being dumped into the water, which can be bad for people. But it expands out to things like they wanted to maybe monitor it at a house-to-house level. So that means the government could go in and look at what kind of poop you're having, and they'll say, oh, look, there's this person's doing heroin, or they're smoking weed, or oh my gosh, they're eating way too many hamburgers. There's a lot of fat in their poop. And like one of the things that she had said that they talked about is trying to make it so they'd have healthier options, or to use it to get medical programs approved. But really what it comes down to is that they would be monitoring you on such a close level that they would have this information. And what would they do with it? The people that were very innocent were like, yes, it will help people. We can get these great programs. But I automatically go to, you have this much knowledge over people, right? What the hell? That they can use it to abuse, and they could find out if you have an illness, that they could use to contact your insurance. Insurance might be able to buy it from them. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go terribly, terribly wrong with it. And this wasn't just like looking at your poop. It was things like drones. They wanted to use drones for looking at communities, and they were saying like to make sure that there was nothing dangerous going on in somebody's yard. But where is the line between using something for good and evil? It's a very fine line, right? So I was very interested in this after her interview, and that's posted on my Liberty Librarian, also on the YouTube, but on the Facebook page if you're interested. We have the whole interview there that you can just watch that. It's really cool. Yes, all the medical freedoms. What was the book? I'm gonna plug this book that I sent out on interlibrary loan today. I bought it because I went to the Libertarian Party, Minnesota Libertarian Party. What's Twyla's last name? Medical. Braze, I think is how you say her last name. And she is with the Citizens Council for Health Freedom. And she wrote a really cool book. Let's see, what's it called? Big Brother in the Exam Room, The Dangerous Truth About, let me see if it pops up, about electronic health records. So this book, if you're interested in data protection, it's really, really important. Oh yes, you will totally want to be connected. She's a really interesting speaker, and I'd love to have her on the show sometime, or any of our shows, because it's a good fit with Freedom Revolution Network, right? So yes, fabulous book. I just sent it on interlibrary loan today, so it reminded me of her. And privacy issues, right? So not only are health organizations monitoring us, they're tying into things like your Fitbit. There's apps out there that they're giving away for free that are monitoring women's menstrual cycles. And at what point, like, will they not know everything about us? So we need to make sure that the information that is being shared with them is locked down and safe. Although really there's not much that's totally safe anymore. They can hack everything. So I found this article in a website called Law 360, and it's got some lockdown stuff on it. So if you look at it too much, it does lock down after a bit. But this one is called Why is My City Monitoring Me? And this is by Emma Quito from December 1st. And they talk about using cameras in cities to do license plate scanning. I know up in the Twin Cities they do a lot more. I'm going to see what Alicia wrote. 2 years at Mobile World Congress, they said big medical data is the next wave of data collection. You're absolutely right. And it's also one of the most terrifying ways that you can lose data privacy. And true story to myself is, as you know, I got Invisaligns. And so that's one of my new sagas. But the day that I went in to get my Invisaligns, they do the scanning, right? And like last week, I got a letter saying that the computer inside the machine that scanned my teeth saved some of the data. It has some personal data on it, and it was hacked. So yay, crap, right? The Liberty Librarian who wants privacy has had her privacy invaded in some way. Now, what do they know about me? Maybe that I had terrible teeth before and then getting this fixed, but it makes me so mad. And you feel powerless because you hope that people in the medical profession take it seriously, that your information is delicate and it needs to be protected and taken care of like a baby. And it is horrible. It's unconstitutional in Minneapolis for those with the license plate scanner. So yes, see how I get around? My brain is all over the place. But it is, they would say, because you're out in public, it's free range, and they will stick with that. But they need to have signs everywhere saying that they are monitoring you, and they do not. And that is why I believe it's unconstitutional. And I agree with you. But will that stop them? At this point, no. And it is pretty horrifying to see all the monitoring that's going on, not just the license plate scanners up on video cameras, but also things like the drones that will go around. So they could follow you. And if they're smart about that, we've talked about this in the past, things that freak me out. The fact that every single phone that you have is a built-in surveillance tool that someone can be using to listen to you, to watch you at every given moment. Yes, that's terrifying. But the newest thing is like when you get the new doorbells that have the cameras on it. I can't remember the names, like Nest, I think. There's a few different brands. But a lot of governments are trying to make deals with big companies like Amazon to have access to that for when, like, let's say they're chasing someone in a neighborhood and they want to see if they're there. They want to be able to plug in. And you should have a right to say no to that. But these big companies are kind of superseding it. And it is really terrifying to me that that something that you use for your own security can be used against you, whether you know it or not. So this person where is the city? It's Coral Gables. It's a Miami suburb, if you've ever been there. And so there is a resident there, Raul Mascanosa. He filed a request with the city to see what information it had on his movements. He was interested in seeing what they had on him, and I think that's kind of cool. So he got a document of 80 pages of documents and images showing him at various locations around town. So they actually had a file on him. And he said, I have no criminal record. Why is my city monitoring me? They're monitoring everyone. And this isn't like big Miami. This is like outside of Miami. It's a smaller community. So if smaller communities are starting to do that, it's happening everywhere. And when we talked to Kara, she had mentioned that it was getting to be so inexpensive to go in on these like different technology tools to monitor data and people and whatever they they could do it. Most communities could swing it, and they do, and they want to. So this was kind of interesting to me. It said that the city was going to continue defending its use of technology, but this Canosa gentleman is suing Coral Gables for violating his right to privacy by using automated license plate reader. They call it ALPR technology. So in October, his case survived a motion to dismiss, allowing him to move forward to the next phase of the lawsuit. So it's really interesting because this kind of technology is being used everywhere. I was driving here in my town in Mankato, and I could see little places where there's cameras all around. So it's not like it's not happening. I mean, I'm in the Midwest. This is a smaller town, and it's happening here. And what would be interesting is to find out what that's used for, what level of information they can get from it, what kind of detail. Can they see your face? I know they don't have as great a technology in this town because they had a string of weird crimes in Mankato where they have these really cool sculptures downtown that change every year. And in the last year, they had all these drunk people would break some of the statues and take parts of them. There was one that was like a mother statue that had a baby, and these two drunk girls ran off with the baby, and they were able to track them down, but it was sort of vague looking. But there was at least 3 cameras downtown that picked them up, and that makes like wherever you go, there's probably surveillance out there. So what are they using it for? How long do they keep it? And what do they keep a file on you? I mean, you kind of wonder, because he was able to get all of that. And they have facial recognition software now, so it's getting easier and easier to use that to figure out who a person is. So they're concerned because not only can you have it, so it says what your car is, what you drive, where you live, how well are they taking care of the privacy? My medical records got hacked. What are they doing to make sure that these files on you are being protected? It's really 1,200 times a week you are on camera. It's true. And sometimes voluntarily and sometimes absolutely not. And I would at least like to know when I'm on camera. I get it that sometimes you are, especially you go to some of these government buildings, but they usually have a sign that says you're on surveillance. And I appreciate that, because if I don't want to be, I could turn around and leave. But when you're out in the street and it's everywhere, it's like Big Brother is watching you always. That's kind of insane. So what they said is, the American Civil Liberties Union said, we're deeply concerned about this technology because it's feeding into absolutely gigantic databases filled with billions of private details, charting out people's movements, associations, patterns of life in ways that are extraordinarily revealing, said Nathan Wessler, a staff attorney with the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU. So they need safeguards. They need to have judicial oversight. They need to have retention limitations. So maybe they're keeping it for a week. Maybe they're keeping it for a month. But you need to know that it'll go away. There shouldn't be a lifetime record on you, like that you abuse Dunkin' Donuts every day. Always liberty over security. To be secure, you have to give up your liberties. I know. And they always say that kind of thing too when it comes to children as well, as like it's for the children to protect them. And I just think that's kind of bunk, why can't we have both? Gosh, I had a friend that posted that today. It's like, do you like this kind of art style or do you like this kind of art style? I like both. I'd like to have liberty and I like to be secure, but I also would rather, I don't know. I think the more you try to make people feel terrorized by like over securing things, it puts the thought in people's minds all the time that they're being oppressed, that they are in danger. So we have all these little kids that do like the gun training where they like there's an active shooter training, and you ask the kids and they always have it on their minds. They're always terrified. And I don't know if that's a way to live, but I also think that some of these methods are totally unnecessary. If somebody really wants to shoot you, um, and they know the system of like how they check, they will find a way around it. So I really don't think it's going to do very well. And I know also that there are methods of obscuring your face, so that way if you um, don't want like facial recognition software to figure out who you are, there's things that you can wear that like confuse it enough so you're like kind of free on it. But I wonder if it will ever come to a point where if somebody wears that, if that's what is against the law, that you are not complying with letting us take all of your privacy away. And that's one of my big worries, is that we live in a country where we have options, and you can opt out. You can opt out of a lot of things, and people can disagree with you for opting out, but I think that you should be able to. And I think it's getting to the point where it's so everywhere, it's kind of freaking me out. So how do you feel about it? How do you feel about them watching you at all times? And it feels like it should be, we should try to be safe. I mean, there's logical things that they push those buttons on you, and they go, well, don't you want to be safe? Don't you want to know that like the bad guys aren't going to get you? And I've never felt safe. And places where they are constantly checking for guns make me feel less safe. I don't know what it is about it specifically, but I feel like, why, if we get to the point where we can't have guns and we can't protect ourselves, and they say, we'll protect you, why would you trust them anymore? They're the ones who have all the guns. They're the ones who can stop us. They're the ones who are watching us. So yes, this is my most subversive thing I will say today, is that you should never trust somebody who takes away all your freedoms. You should never trust people who want to take it all away. And I see Kara. Hi, we were just talking about you. We're talking about I have an article about communities monitoring, and there's a lawsuit in Coral Gables. It's a Miami suburb where they were talking about people being monitored by the city, looking at license plates. And this guy who's not a criminal at all, he found he had 80 pages of documentation on him. And it basically had where he had been, all these cameras around the community, had pictures of him. And it's kind of freaky. You feel like if you're not a criminal and they're watching you. And I always feel like people like us who say, open up our hearts about we need to keep privacy is an important thing for all of us as Americans. And when we say it, I think we become the target of that too, because we end up on blacklists. And Kara should know more than anybody. Anytime we fly, she's always the one who gets searched. I don't know what she did. I'm pretty sure like there's no reason for it, but yeah, it's one of those things that once you're on the list, you never get off of the list. So anyway, and welcome. I see more people are joining us. Now, they talk about the systems for scanning your license plates, and it's getting cheaper. And I know Kara and I had talked a couple weeks ago about all these different data kind of practices are getting so cheap. Like the drones are getting cheap, the software is getting cheap, everything. So they said in the article that there's a proliferation of ALPR, and that's the license plate scanners, used by cities and law enforcement. One survey by George Mason University in 2016 found that in 2006, so 10 years before, about 8% of local law enforcement agencies use ALPRs. And by 2016, 66% did. So it's an explosion in how many local government law enforcements are using the license plate scanners. it's easy on the onion and a few dark web tools when what you can achieve, right? Right? Absolutely. So should we be worried about all the monitoring? They have cameras on all the police cars, of course. A lot of the law enforcement have cameras on themselves, so they do use it. And um, it's it's supposed to help investigate crimes. And they say in the article, it talks about identifying stolen vehicles and even deter crime. They think it's going to help for that. It makes a geofence around the city, they say in the article. And so this little town of Coral Gables has about 50,000 people who live there. So a town that small, even though it's kind of near Miami, is doing all of this. So it's very similar to where I live, and we're maybe a little bit bigger, but it opens your eyes. So they have about 30 cameras around the city, they said, in this little tiny town. And it's not the perimeter. They have cameras at all the major intersections of the city. So next time you drive around, don't go off the road, but like when you're at a light and you're stopped, look up at the lights and you can kind of see where cameras are. Some of it is sensors, so when emergency vehicles come through, but you can kind of tell. And keep that in mind. How many do you see? How many cameras do you see? Sometimes they're hidden, sometimes they're not very hidden. But like Alicia said, 1,200 times a week you're on camera, whether you like it or not. And I think that's something to always think about. And I think you need to be worried. In Maryland, they said, as an example, the ALPRs scanned 29 million license plates in 6 months, but only 0.2% of them were flagged for illegal activity. So is this worth the money your taxpayers are using to take away your privacy if it's only minimally effective? Whereas a police officer in a car could probably see weird behavior and they could do about as much good. And you kind of wonder if it's tied into them calling in and saying, hey, I saw this car doing something weird. Can you tell me? And so they're using it to just watch people. And they said that, and then we talked about this before with Kara, is that who is it really hurting? A lot of these policing tactics, they generate revenue from fines and fees, but they really are targeting often low-income residents and people of color. It's just the way that it seems to work. And you kind of wonder if they see the mayor driving around speeding or whatever, if they ignore it compared to a person of color who might be doing the same behavior. So how are they using the information? Are they using it to call the police? Are they using it because the police have been called and they want more information? It's a very dark kind of feeling, like what they use it for, like how they use it. I think there should be something that says if you're going to use it, this is how you can use it. It's acceptable best practices, and you need to get rid of the information after a certain amount of time. And they don't want to. So they talked about the largest vendor, and I don't know if this is one of the ones that were at Kara's conference. It's the largest vendor of ALPR technologies called Vigilant Solutions. Was that the one? I think it might have been. So Vigilant Solutions was also the vendor of the small town where the lawsuit was. And the numbers on its reach are hard to come by. The company's technology potentially scans over 1 million license plates per day. So you just think about that. 365 million people are being scanned each year. It allows municipalities to share local data with state and federal agencies. So federal, remember that. This information is going out to a broader audience. So you think that the cities are making files on you, but now maybe it's only 52,000 people. Yeah, right? So let me see. Now, I don't know if they're like theirs is only 52,000 people, but 1 million. So they're getting to other communities, but it's so weird that such a small community would do it. But they tried to get a comment from Vigilant Solutions and they couldn't get a comment. Doesn't surprise me. So, but these databases are being shared with the federal government, and they can be, but maybe of course I'm going to say they shouldn't. They shouldn't be shared with the federal government, because what difference does it make to the federal government what you're doing in your own small town community? Except that they want to start building their databases. They want it to be bigger. And then eventually, I feel like the AI is going to be so good that they could look at certain behaviors and start targeting people. Like, oh, you're anti-government. You are someone who like uses guns. We can tell because you go to gun ranges like 5 times a week. We're watching you. You're on our public enemy list. And what's to stop them from like getting worse and worse? I mean, I just feel like we're on this path towards like re-education and like grabbing people in the middle of the night because they disagree. So you heard it first. It's the beginning. And you need to be worried about this. It seems like such a little thing. They're like, most people tell me, Heather, I don't care if they are looking at me. I love getting Facebook, right? Facebook is great, but they can monitor you. And I know I have friends that dropped out of Facebook because it bothered them so much. And I realized that because of some of the things that I am a part of, it's always going to be really difficult to ever be off the grid. And the way I look at it is I'm an educator, and I know that I'm going to be the bad guy in a lot of this, but I don't care. I want you guys to be free. I want you to have your freedom. And I would like it if you get involved in city government or state government or anything. Get passionate, write to your leaders and tell them now is the time that your privacy is important to you. And this is it. You're going to see it's gone from 8% to 66% in 10 years. It's going to get to the point where every city has this. Do something about it now before it's too late. So yes, what else did they say? They talked about class action suits about NYPD surveillance of political groups like the Black Panthers, gay rights activists, anti-war protesters, and NYPD might be using the ALPR technology to target people based on their political views, even though such views are protected by the First Amendment, our biggest amendment that we need to protect. And they talked about the NYPD did not respond to the request for a comment on this. And we also should worry about data breaches. So what are they using the information for? How long do they keep it? And then the security of it. You need to make sure that if it's going to be information that's incriminating to you, that it is protected from people who are hacking things, because they hack things all the time. It's terrifying. So it's getting to be so cheap. So 0.2% of 26 million. Oh God, now I gotta look at the article again. You know me and my math. I'm a humanities girl, Alicia. I'm glad you got a math brain. Oh, I hear the cat's running. Andy might be home. So the ALPRs scanned 29 million license plates in 6 months. So that was 6 months. But only 0.2 of them 0.2%, so 0.2. So it's not even 2%, it's 0.2% of them were flagged for illegal activity. So in 6 months, 29 million. So it's probably, it's probably even half of that. Whatever. So of those, 97% were flagged as either emissions or registration violations. How can they even tell? So yeah, they're using it to target people completely. God, yeah. I suck at math. Hi, I'm Heather. I suck at math. We were talking earlier today in a group, and they were saying, God, my brain is so mushy. I should stay off the myths. And I was like, I need to stay off the maths because that makes my brain even mushier. They weren't on math. It was a joke. So anyway, um, so there's a danger of wide-scale privacy violations. There's also a danger when it doesn't work. So the last part is, do we trust the technology? What if it's horribly wrong? And they say, oh, Heather, we saw you speeding in your little car and you ran over an old lady. And I'm like, how does that work? They're like, nope. The AI says it was you, even though it didn't get a clear shot of your license plate. The facial recognition said it's totally you. It might not be me. I mean, like, at what point do you have the right to go, that's not me. That's not right. And will they listen to you anymore? So it's terrifying to me. So anyway, I will finish that up. We see this as a chance to make a new law or push the law to protect people against automatic license plate reading cameras nationwide. So I'll be eagerly watching to see what they do with the Coral Gables case, to see if they can indeed protect our rights for this. Okay, so today I didn't do the YouTube video, right? So I instead decided to try Facebook because I think the quality looks a little better. I'm hoping that it's pretty good. But I've had a few people since the last couple weeks we did a little more YouTube. I had somebody send me an email, what do you know about the COPPA, C-O-P-P-A ruling? And what that stands for is the U.S. Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And everyone on YouTube lost their poop because of the COPPA. They're trying to comply with it. And when I posted videos like last week, it asked you, is this video intended for children? I think that was the wording. And I was like, I didn't make this for kids. I mean, if somebody who's underage watches it, I'm like, maybe you'll know about privacy. That'd be nice. But I usually only say a couple little swear words, so I'd say my videos are usually PG-13. But whatever. So they talk about how they're going to make it to comply with the ruling. And either your entire channel has to be child-proof, which seems weird. But I think they're having like such an uproar, and they don't want to lose their content creators, but yet they want to comply with it, with the FTC ruling, Federal Trade Commission, by the way. And there's a lot of categories of YouTube videos like gaming, toy reviews, and family vlogging. They're gray areas. So the gray areas are where you can have it pretty family friendly, but it's made for both adults and kids. So is it for kids? Maybe not. And are they setting this up so kids can't watch any of it? Oh, can you see? My husband came home and he's got foggy eyes, so he must have been out shoveling. So anyway, the YouTube, they've asked FTC to have more clarity. So the guidance requires platforms must treat anyone watching primarily child-directed content as children under 13. So you may watch it, you may be older, but they're going to consider you a child. So whatever that means. But it doesn't match on YouTube. I mean, like, I think about all these times where there's little kids watching really scary stuff and they get freaked out and they tell their friends at school, and it's going to just change if they lock it down too much. I think that a lot of kids are just going to jump ship because there's other formats and other, what is it? TikTok and all of that. Hi, Tim. Nice to see you. So there's going to be, like, if they put it too regulated, people will jump ship off of YouTube. And that was kind of why I was thinking about it today, that I was open to trying Facebook for the live to see how it goes and to see if it records to our new station website. But the guidance in November was passed on to creators, and people, they don't read, and YouTube people probably don't read even more. and as this librarian is not good at reading law, so I get it. I get it. It's hard to understand and it's complicated, but um, they need to figure this out because um, the announcement pointed commenters to the FTC's website, which isn't working right now. That's kind of crazy that the lawmaker that we're supposed to turn to and go, okay, how are we following the rules? Are we making it so everything works? You can't even look at it. So you're getting kind of hearsay on the law, and I think that's a little bit freaky. So what they want with the COPA, and that YouTube supports, is that they want robust protections for kids and their privacy. Who doesn't want that? I want robust protections of my privacy. But that's not what it means. They're making it so content creators, and this is what I've heard, so they make it so if you are creating content for children, they can't do advertising, first of all. So a lot of the advertising money that they were making big bucks off of has like gotten shut down. So that in of itself will make a lot of the children's content creators leave because they really want to have they want to make money. Who doesn't want to make money, especially if you're doing this for a living? I don't know. I mean, like, is it art if you're making money at it? Why not? They did the work for it. But YouTube creators said they submitted a comment on COPA to the FTC. They strongly support COPA and believe it would benefit from updates and clarifications that would better reflect how kids and families interact with tech today. So yeah, I mean, even if YouTube doesn't get it, how are the rest of us going to get it? So I had somebody say you should just not do stuff on YouTube. And I don't think we should punish YouTube for trying to align themselves with having children's privacy protected, because I kind of feel like that's a good goal. It's not a bad goal to make it so we protect children. Yet it's so very vague and confusing about how they're supposed to do it and why they're punishing creators who make money. And I think the rules are very broad, and YouTube is really trying to make it match. But I also think that I think that by a little bit doing too much, they want to make it fail so that the FTC has to revise the way they're saying it. And I think YouTube's hope is that it fails so badly that they can go back to monetizing children. So I have lots of different feelings about it, whereas I'd really like children's privacy to be protected, but that is what I think is happening. So, and all the creators kind of really just want to make money. So do they care about children's privacy? Maybe, maybe not. I felt like I never really have made stuff just for children, so it doesn't really affect me. But are they going to be blocking children's access to some of these over 13 shows? That's the rub. So they also have a gaming policy. YouTube, and this was from just a few days ago. They on the flip side, YouTube has made it so they can produce more violent footage. So violent footage like video games, because how many kids play video games where they're just cuddling puppies? I play that game, but I don't think that's what people are doing. So they usually are like running around shooting and blowing stuff up, Grand Theft Auto, where you run over hookers and Johns and whatever. Yeah, it's fun. So they have changed their policy. Their new gaming policy for YouTube treats other scripted entertainment formats like television and movies differently than gaming videos. So this includes scripted or simulated violence. And those videos are open to everyone. not just says on the account stating they're over the age of 18. So if the violence is extreme and the sole focus of a video, like a finishing move in Mortal Kombat, the video may be age gated. It's hard to say how that works. I think sometimes it's people post that they're worried about the content for age, and it may get more and more AI on it where they restrict it. But there's games that I always felt like games are so submersive that I think parents should just look at the games your kids play and decide, is this a game that I approve of? I don't think it should really be outside organizations telling you what you can and can't look at. I know kids that play games that are far more terrifying than I could probably want to play myself. But I do feel like that's an issue. So the creators, they rely on what's called YouTube's AdSense to make money. And I know a lot of this is kind of geared because if you look at sites like Twitch, people get paid to play video games all day. And there are so many people that watch. I got a Twitch account. I've never posted to it. I've thought about it, like in real life, but it's so weird. It's usually like girls that look like little Russian supermodels. So I'm not sure that they'd be interested in watching a librarian walk around in real life and look at library stuff and like what it's like for me. Maybe it could be really fun. But there's like an edgier content out there. It's almost like an R-rated movie. So I feel like there's two different sides happening here on YouTube where they're overprotecting children's rights, and yet on the other side, they're making it easy so there's gory content available on video games. So what are we doing? Are we protecting kids? Or are we not protecting kids? Can we just like have a clear idea of what we're doing? And they just want to make money. YouTubers are airing their frustrations with the advertising system as it's gaming content for years. That's why so many people have gone to Twitch and the Xbox One. There's ones on each system that's built into your console. But there's Gaming Summit. Where was this at? I'm looking. She admitted that there's some advertisers are wary of YouTube as a platform for gaming. So she had said that she looked at what advertisers want to advertise on, and they opt out of topics like sensitive subjects. Gaming is actually not very high up on the list for YouTube. So getting advertising money for that is not easy. Whereas if you went to a system like Twitch that's already built up for that, they can. So this gives you two morals of the story. YouTube really wants to make money. The content creators really want to make money. And everyone wants to make money who's making content. I mean, ultimately, it'd be really nice if all of a sudden I started making millions of dollars just talking about what I'm interested in. But it takes a long time and a lot of hard work for anybody to make even just a little bit of money, because there's so much options out there. There's many options. There's really cool content. There's obviously people who have more high-tech, viewing options than I ever could. But when it comes down to it, I kind of prefer not having all the advertisements. I tried really hard with our old studio system to make sure that we did. This goes back to my a long time ago when I was in college. I was on an actual campus radio station, and every hour you're supposed to play ads. Every hour you're supposed to talk. Every hour you're supposed to plug the station. So Freedom Revolution Network, y'all, that kind of thing. So you make sure once an hour you say it, and it gets ingrained in your brain. But at the same time, there's part of me that's I kind of like the idea, the model of the nonprofit, almost like national public radio, where you maybe once in a while we do a fundraiser, and we make t-shirts and we give them out to our fans. And I mean, that seems kind of cool too. But how do you make money is so important. And I mean, station ID time, yo. Freedom Revolution Network, kids. I mean, you got to say it so people know. If you actually go to that site, there's chat on there, although I'm haven't figured out all this stuff on how to use it. but we're working on things, and I think it's getting better all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna have one last article. Take a little sip. It's Monday. Okay, so I saw this article, and I thought it's on a website I think is really interesting. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I usually go to the American Library Association has a really cool intellectual freedom news blog every week, and you get tons of news from all around the world, and they talk about news. And I sometimes I pick a couple out of there, and I pick a few other things I want to talk about each week. And if you just can't get enough of intellectual freedom news, that's where I would go. But one of the things they posted about was this Freedom Forum Institute, which I've seen a lot more things about, and I think I might try to follow them a little bit more because they kind of got my mindset, right? But what they're talking about is that there's a special day for everything. It's like we all got birthdays, we all got anniversaries, we got like national, I don't know, Kiss a Hobo Day, National Bacon Day. There's got to be a day for everything, right? So they said that they gave some other examples, like, do you love tacos? Because October 4th is National Taco Day. Yes, I do love tacos. Do you love cats? I do. It's like they wrote this article for me. October 29th, National Cat Day. Who knew? There's an International Joke Day because I'm freaking hilarious. That's on July 1st. There's so many days, right? But they talk about all of the things that are really important to me too, like freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, assembly, and petition. And what are these all tied into? The First Amendment. We all need to have a special space in our heart for the freedoms that we protect. And this Liberty Librarian wants you to be aware that there's a lot of things to protect in our country. So coming up next week, just to give you a heads up, what day is this? I'm going to see what day of the week it is because I don't see it anywhere. Oh, it's Sunday. So the day before my show next week, so it's good that I'm telling you now, December 15th is Bill of Rights Day. Bill of Rights, Bill. It's a day first observed 78 years ago to commemorate ratification of the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights. So these amendments protect the core rights that shape our American experience. I love that. So what are we going to do to celebrate, right? We should have a party. We should get a little wild. It should be fun. So the liberties in the Bill of Rights are crucial for a democratic government to function. And they keep trying to take them away. And that's when people go crazy. They fight back and they get angry because you keep taking away those important rights. So, for one thing, local, state, and federal governments don't always respect the boundaries established by the Bill of Rights. That's why we argue. That's why we fight for it. First time listener. Hi. How you doing, sir? I'm going to like your post. There you go, Ricky. Yes, that's awesome. Thank you for listening. It makes me so happy. God. Okay, so I get I'm verklempt. That's nice when people listen. That's really cool. So the reason it's important to protect the Bill of Rights, state governments used to bar women and African Americans and of any sex from serving on juries, interfering with the due process of the rights of female and black defendants guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment. So there were no people on juries to speak up for their rights. And I think that you need to realize that it's so easy for us to slip and to take rights away. And we take for granted that it hasn't been that long since we've had the right to vote, that women have had the right to vote, that black people have had the right to vote. So we need to be very thoughtful about it. So this year, the State of the First Amendment survey is going on by the Freedom Forum Institute, which is a lot to say, found that 29% of American adults cannot name a single freedom covered by the First Amendment. Even more concerning. 29% believe the First Amendment goes too far. A marked increase from 23% the previous year. So that makes me want to just pause and go, hey, why does it go too far that you can say your mind and that you can assemble and that you can practice a religion that you want to? Why is that too far? That's what I would love to ask people. So even though these rights are both recognized and respected, they can bring their own complications and challenges. And this is one that they also mention, is that it creates opportunities for disinformation. And I think that's one of the big things, is people don't trust a lot of media sites because they feel like it's fake news. And it uproots our understanding of reality and blurs our judgment for whom or what to trust. And I'm going to give you a hint here. Maybe you shouldn't trust everything. I mean, you have this tool, like you have Google, you have all these search tools, librarians. We can help you look. If you find something and you're not sure it's true, let's find out why. Maybe it is true, maybe it's not. But a lot of times there's an undermining of faith in elections and other democratic institutions, and there's a lot of friction in our society. And I think that's, the whole world feels like it's blowing up. You watch the news and you see, like in France, they're having their whole, like, the, what do you call it, the retirement, the pension I keep wanting to call it refund. They're looking at making it different. The words aren't coming to my brain, but people don't trust government anymore because they're taking away our whole feeling that they should even be trusted. And you see things in the media and you're like, are they lying? And then another side says something completely different. Are they lying? Who do I trust? I mean, even me, I try to speak from my heart and tell you what I think, but maybe I don't have all the facts, and maybe you need to think for yourself. And that, if anything, if that's the only thing you get from this show, and let's say I only do this for like another year, and you look back on it and this is like 100 years in the future, and you go, those people in the 2000s are crazy, but she meant well. She might have not had this and this right, but she had a lot of it because she tried. And it all depends on who you listen to. So anyway, for this day, the Bill of Rights Day, they would like people to know that First Amendment freedoms are directly impacted by the information disorder. Online trolls and hoaxes have tricked people into showing up and exercising their freedom of petition and assembly for no apparent reason. Now, an example would be dozens of people showed up at Pennsylvania's Gettysburg National Battlefield in July of 2017 in response to a fake story claiming Confederate graves were about to be desecrated there. So I think we even mentioned this earlier, is like, you could look at the Onion and go, wow, I've had so many people in my lifetime that came up to me is like, is this true, Heather? Is this thing? And the example I always use with students so that way they don't feel bad is like dolphins having laser guns. Like, are we going to die if we go to the ocean? Are the dolphins finally rising up and killing us all? And I go, where did you read that first? And they go, the Onion. And there's a few other websites that are very similar to that. And they go, what's the Onion? And I go, that's a parody site, right? What's that? They make jokes that kind of sound like they're real. People are like, no, I believe that. I feel like stupid now. And then they don't trust anything. And on one hand, I'm kind of like, good, maybe you shouldn't trust everything if you're very naive and sweet. But I also don't want them to not believe a legitimate news source because they disagree or think, God, that doesn't seem right. Take the time to look at stuff and see. I know I had one time I fell for an April Fool's joke, and it wasn't even on April Fool's Day. It was before that they were saying that there was an event going on. I was so excited because I wanted to meet this person. I called because I go, they don't say where to go, and they're like, don't come. Like, why? Because that's on Wednesday. What day is that? like April 1st. Oh, dang it. And so you feel like dumb for not knowing what day of the week it is. So I get it. I get everybody has those moments where you feel like silly for doing that. But what we need to do on December 15th is break the cycle of ignorance and misinformation that threatens our fundamental freedoms. We need to brush up on your constitutional freedom and learning more about misinformation. Democracy demands it, and our future depends on it. So please, December 15th, next Sunday, the day before my next show, tip your glass to our country. Think about our freedoms. Maybe take a look at the Constitution and see what's actually there. They say there's a couple sites that they recommend. This Freedom Forum Institute recommends a site called Disinformation. It's like -nation.org. You also find other resources to hone your media literacy skills. So this is the kind of thing librarians do all the time. As we work with students to help them figure out how to know what's a good resource versus a bad resource, a biased resource versus an unbiased resource. And it takes a little time. It's not an easy thing to do. But I really hope that, and they also say newseumed.org, and they have /media literacy. And I'll post these links on the Facebook page. And the Newstrition, it's like nutrition but with news, it's an app, so you can learn about media literacy and celebrate our right for freedom and hopefully learn a little bit on the way. So always for that. So remember December 15th, Bill of Rights Day, and so we can all like celebrate together. Okay, so that's all of my intellectual freedom news. And I actually talked a lot today in the beginning, so I'm not going to talk that much at the end. I didn't have a lot going on for that. But I'm really glad that you guys all could join me. It seems like Facebook is a winner. After I did YouTube and Facebook, I had the most people here throughout the show. And then this will be posted, obviously, in both places. So you can watch it later and tell me what you think. If you like Facebook for where the Liberty Librarian lives, let me know. This will be transcribed, so it'll be available for podcast. So if you like that too, we'll have it there. You can always look at it at Freedom Revolution Network. See, I plugged it again. Yay, Alicia, right? And then we will be back next week. It's going to be the end of the semester for this librarian, so it gets to be extra busy. But I'm hoping that we can get a system that works out really good so we can do the live shows like this. And I love getting to talk to you guys and chat. That's super fun. We're playing with some different tools to see if we can get it so we can do streaming at like Facebook and YouTube at the same time, on the website, have like a chat, so all these different formats can come together. And I didn't even mention it before, but I have a awesome artist that I've been working with that has been developing a new logo, and I'm going to share it pretty soon. Danny Hirajita. I don't want to mess up your name, Danny. I've never heard it live. I'm going to say Hirajita. He's a wonderful artist, and I'm going to post his links when I get the art and everything together. I have like a couple of them that are coming up, and then there'll be t-shirts and merch coming soon. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You know, that's all I'm going to wear everywhere from now on is like my shirts, and go. They're like, what's that about? I'm like, it's me. Yes. I love it. There's a part of me that just feels like you get this insane excitement about that you're doing this thing that you love, and that a couple people even listen. It means the world to me. And I know it's goofy as hell. I'm just like, oh, I can talk about intellectual freedom all day, baby. So I hope that you had fun with this today. And I'm going to share it, see if I can figure out how to share it to a few other places. And it will be on my TalkShoe account and Spreaker for sure. We'll be living there. I might re-edit and repost for podcast format because, you know, you get a lot of the ums and pauses and stuff. But there was not a cat fight today. and everything seemed to work. So I feel like it's a huge success. So again, thank you so much for listening in with me. I love getting to talk with you every week. If you have things that you'd like me to explore, figure out, talk about, you have questions about things, send them to me on the Facebook group, Liberty Librarian. Like my page, and we'll be back next week. So have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. And